It's the cold up there. Oh, there it goes.
There we go. What's up, everybody? Noah Kisser back here, and we are here for a very first pilot episode of a brand new show we're calling the very smart name, Noah and Scottie Reviews. We're going to win very smart internet tech awards for these. So every single week, we're going to bring you brand new reviews of most, if not all, the new Hallmark reviews. And then we're going to go into whatever else we watch. So like this week, we're going to be doing Miss Christmas Comes to Town, Mystic Christmas, Joyeux Noel, and Christmas by Design, along with Five Nights at Freddys and The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I watched a couple more, but we're not going to cover the GACs because that's way too goddamn many.
And I didn't watch them.
I will say this: you missed a good one with Bring Christmas Home, Journey to Christmas. You got the trailer, and that's about it. But we're going to start off with Miss Christmas Comes to Town, and this is all about when Miss Christmas, a shopping channel host, receives a terminal diagnosis. She heads to a multi-city excursion to spread Christmas cheer. What were your thoughts on this one? You go first.
Okay. I thought this was a decent one. It was better than I expected it to be. I thought the emotion was there for it. The chemistry was decent. It didn't really focus solely on the romance. It was more about, her having the terminal cancer, and I thought it had a good Christmas feel. I'm not used to the whole QVC stuff, so the whole what her job was, it didn't quite interest me as much. It might have some other people that's really big into like the shopping network and stuff. But I think that was just such a small part of it that I was able to overlook it and enjoy it for what it was. But yeah, definitely one that I liked for sure.
For me, I thought that this one, I'm a bit of I don't want to say I have a horse in the race because I really don't. I'm friends with the director of this. So I interviewed the guy. I just uploaded his full interview in 4 parts on this channel. And he talked about this film a little bit. He does have another film coming out called A World Record Christmas. We're looking forward to that one. This one I really enjoyed because of the QVC aspect, but also because the chemistry was decent. And I thought they did a nice enough job building the friendship, but not only the friendship, the romance between our two love interests here, Erica Durance and Brennan Elliott. Brennan Elliott is an actor I really do enjoy for the Hallmark Channel. He's one where he's very easy to like. He's an older actor for the Hallmark Channel. Let's just take it that way. He's a very much older actor. He's not in his 20s or his lower 30s anymore. He's an older guy who's doing these Hallmark Channel movies, and he's playing the roles that he needs to. I think he does a nice job with this sort of film because he doesn't need to play a dad or a husband or anything. He's just there to basically cover up for our lead, played by Barbara Niven, that she has this terminal illness now. And while her helper, played by Erica Durance, is helping her go on this final tour, she doesn't know that she has this terminal illness. So what they do here on both of these layers, on every layer, I think it works. The only thing I wish we've gotten a little bit more of is building the romance between our romance between Barbara Niven and her love interest. He's introduced way too late in the film for me to really get sucked into that romance. But this is one that I really enjoyed overall because of the chemistry, the cinematography, the story was very well done. But that one issue brought it down enough to make me give this a B+. This was at about an A. If we would have gotten a bit more of this overall romance in our older love story, I thought this would have been an overall better film and maybe one of the best of the year. But right now, it's one of the strongest films of Christmas, which it's not saying a whole lot right now. But there's my review of Miss Christmas Comes to Town. And what score would you give it?
I gave it a 4 out of 5, so whatever that would be on your scale.
You're right with me. My scale pretty much goes from 1 star being an F, star and a half to 2, just straight from there. A+ is 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I didn't really have any issues, major issues with this one. It's just me and the Hallmark dramas, they just don't scream 5 out of 5s to me usually. So I haven't found one that's really grabbed me to say it's 5 out of 5 yet, but we'll see.
Now, this is one that I know we talked about. This is Christmas by Design. That look says it all. Okay. During a Christmas challenge to create a holiday-themed clothing line, a designer looks closer at the most important thing in life. That's all Letterboxd gives us. I'm going to start off with this one first.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead.
I like the first 20 minutes. Once we're in her clothing store and after the flood, then everything starts to go downhill. This movie really didn't give me anything I wanted. This character gets more unlikable as this movie goes on. I like the lead actress. Rebecca Dalton is an actress that I think does a very nice job in the films I've seen her in. Particularly, she did one film earlier this year where she did a nice job, but the script was pretty meh, in The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. She has another Christmas film coming out this year called Christmas in Big Sky Country. And that's coming in a triple feature pack on DVD, and I will be reviewing that one. But this one really didn't give me anything I wanted from it. You didn't focus on the romance enough. The character was unlikable. And overall, the movie just looked a little bit too dark in some scenes and overly lit. The costume design was nice, but in a movie about design, if your costume design sucks, then your entire film just falls flat to me. Let alone, if the chemistry isn't there, then your romance film fails. I didn't hate this film. I thought it had some good moments to it, but the costume design, the performance by Rebecca Dalton was enough to make me give this a positive score. However, what this film did wrong brings it down a lot for me. This could have been a fantastic film. I usually enjoy these design films like a Fashionably Yours or something like that, but this one really didn't work for me overall. I wanted more from this, and I think they deserved more. Rebecca Dalton is an actress who's brand new to this Hallmark genre, really. She just got into it in the past couple of years, but Christmas by Design is one that I don't see myself rewatching unless it comes in like a 9-movie pack or a 6-movie pack. I'm going to give Christmas by Design a C+. So there's my thoughts on it. What are yours? Because I know you're pretty close to mine, but
yeah. Well, as you said, I think that her character is very unlikable from pretty much the moment she came on the screen almost, at least when she gets into the town back home. But which made me wonder why, he would even want to be with somebody that's so unlikable. It really hurt the romance for me because I couldn't see why he would want to be with her, why he would want to try to make it work or whatever. And so the chemistry just wasn't there for me personally that great. The Christmas feel wasn't all that great with this one. I think it just felt the only way I can explain this one is it's like with one of the other ones we'll be talking about is it felt like a movie set at Christmas time, but not an actual Christmas movie. And then her design, for me, I didn't like it. I thought it was very ugly, honestly. And I felt like towards the end, I thought ruined the ending for me when she ended up still getting the job. I felt like that kind of took away from what she gave up by leaving at the end and going back home instead of staying for the competition or whatever. So I think that really ruined the ending a lot for me. And this is one I was so back and forth with my score, and I still don't know if I'm satisfied with where I have it at, but I'm not going to change it again. So I'm going to keep it where it's at, but it's definitely not one I would probably watch again. Even if it was in a 6 or 9 film set, I don't see myself watching it again just because I had so much, to me personally, wrong with it.
Would you say that this was a disappointment of a film, or did you get exactly what you expected from it?
Kind of disappointed, but kind of what I expected. I mean, you know how it was with the last year's, what was it, Romance and Style or whatever.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was from last year.
Yeah, or Tracy.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. So I was like, I'm probably not going to like it for that, just because I'm not into the fashion ones very much, it seems like. But then I thought there were parts of the trailer looked like it could be pretty good. So I'm kind of a little bit of both, I think, with this one.
Now, for those of you who don't know, we have 2 separate channels. So we talk all the time about the Hallmark films, and most of the time we tend to disagree a lot on films. But it makes it very fun because we have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we both loved everything, then it would completely suck.
It'd probably be kind of boring if we both loved everything.
We aren't your typical like Hallmark fans who love every single thing. We are the critics who you kind of don't like. Let's put it that way. We're the type of critics where if you're watching a Hallmark film, you're not looking at the costume design. You're not looking at the chemistry. You're not going to pay attention to the script. You're not going to pay attention to the lighting, to the direction, anything like that. Most of the crowd for the Hallmark films are looking for, oh, that's a cute story. I like this. Most of it is for us, like in let's say for this one, for Hall at the Holly, we noticed the very fake bouncy ball looking snowballs. Which, yeah. We'll see how that one goes here in a couple weeks, because if they bounce off the ground again.
Oh, Lord. If they don't have better looking snow, then good Lord.
I'm going to laugh my butt off. But in my interview with Jason, he did tell me that, and we already knew this, but most of these films shoot during the spring and summer months, just because they have to get them all shot and edited with pretty much the same exact crews, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So I can sort of see that, but sometimes we do get a Christmas film with real snow.
Yeah.
And you completely notice it. You notice it right off the bat. But anyways, let's get right into the next Christmas film that I know you didn't love this one, but I enjoyed this one enough. And this is Mystic Christmas. Mystic Christmas is all about, during the holidays, Juniper reconnects with the owner of a pizza shop in Mystic, Connecticut, where she's working on at a rehabilitation center and aquarium, and she is basically helping to rehab this seal. This is a film that I think we can both agree the trailer looked awful.
Definitely, yes.
The preview looked awful. But going into this, you watched this one before I did. because I record these on Friendly TV, and you are at work.
Yeah.
So since you are able to watch them live, and if you can watch them live, then you do.
Yeah.
But you were texting me, and I'm like, you're not making it a very exciting watch. So I finally get to watch it, and I'm going to say this. This film is so freaking charming. I think it's charming. It might be because I love Jessie Schramm, but Jessie Schramm was one of those actresses who she's just very likable. She's charismatic. She gives everything she can to this role, no matter what it is, whether it's a time for them to come home for Christmas or the birthday wish or something like that. She gives everything to this role. And I think they did a nice job of not leaving the seal left out. Because sometimes in Hallmark films or in a romance film, you get an animal in here, and they're just completely forgotten about. Yeah, they're there, but besides that, you're not getting anything besides, hi, I'm a seal, hello. But the chemistry in this one worked for me. I liked the cinematography, and I really enjoyed the story. What I did not like is that you did not give us enough attention to the characters for our side characters. You do get a lot with Chandler Massey, but Chandler Massey plays a guy who I think he's a little bit unlikable at times, but he's also over the top. I don't know if that was a character decision. I don't know if that was a directing decision. I don't know if that was actually in the script written as an unlikable guy, but sometimes he's playing it a little too over the top for my liking. He's charming in a way, but I think this is definitely better than his last film he did last Christmas called The Tale of Two Christmases. But this is definitely a step up from that one. Not one I loved, but one that I think is a very pleasant surprise, because if you would have asked me at the beginning of this year and you showed me all the previews for all 40-something of these Hallmark movies, I would have been like, this is the one that's going to suck. Because the preview just looked like crap. But the costume design was very, very well done, particularly with Chandler Massey's character. I enjoyed the story enough and the chemistry enough to give this a B+ as well. So what were your thoughts on this film? And were you like me? Were you looking forward to this one in an odd way? Because of how bad it could be? Like a love club?
I mean,
but what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I was somewhat looking forward to it because of Jesse and Chandler. I do enjoy them in movies, even if the movies aren't that great. But the trailer did look really bad, so I was very nervous for it. And I'll say my score for it wasn't as low as I thought it was going to be, but I think that with this film, it reminded me in a way of Christmas Under the Sky that we just got last week. It didn't really have that Christmas feel because of what the story was completely about, for me anyways. I thought the chemistry was there between Jesse and Chandler, but like you said, with the overacting, the way, even to me, both of them sometimes, when they were delivering their lines, it just felt overacted. It felt some of the lines, dialogue was a little cheesy at times. And so it kind of threw me off. I think the biggest thing was with that was it kind of threw me off and in a way hurt the chemistry a little bit, but not completely. I still felt it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how they was writing their characters, why they went about doing the characters the way they were doing them. But, and then, as you said, with the background characters, I wanted a little bit more with the I don't remember the character's name. He's the gay character in it. I felt we could have had a little. Wish we could have had a little more with them two, because I felt like it just kind of happened, and we just didn't get to see much more with it. They just kind of popped up together every once in a while through the rest of the movie. But I don't know. It was okay film for me. I think I need to, when I rewatch this, I need to just watch it with a different mindset and knowing what I'm going in for this time, instead of going in blind, because now I'm going to understand, like, okay, this is what I'm going to expect. This is how they're doing it. Maybe I can have some more fun with it. And it just kind of sucks that, to me, this was supposed to be a Christmas film. And that's my biggest flaw, was I just didn't get that Christmas feel from it. And, but I ended up, in the end, going to 2.5, but maybe on a rewatch, it could go up once I see it in a different light, hopefully, with their acting and stuff.
Okay. This one's going to be fun. Because this is Joyeux Noël.
God.
This is one where, let's just say this right up front. This is a film that had two things going for it for me. One, it's a Christmas film. You got a star there. If you do Christmas and you do it right, you got a star there. We are two completely different animals with the lovely J.C. Elliott, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Definitely.
Don't really care for her acting style. I do.
No.
But this is one where I think this is a bit of a mixed film. I completely get why this is a mixed film. Joyeux Noël, which that one took me like 45 times listening to the darn title before I learned how to say it, because I didn't learn French in high school. This is all about a copy editor named Lee and pragmatic reporter Mark. Let's try it one more time. Copy editor Leah and pragmatic reporter Mark head to France to learn about a mysterious artist behind a romantic Christmas painting. This one has something going for it that I think the other ones don't. You have France. You have this beautiful town. You have all these beautiful sets. You have everything going for you in this film. I think the cinematography worked, but what it didn't do well is it did not build the chemistry. It didn't build the chemistry. What this film did, I think it was just, we're in France. We're in France. And they gave us a little bit of, I think, French culture with like food and the people in a smaller town in France. You give us a little bit of a look at the Christmas culture over there in France, I think. Now, this is coming from a American point of view. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about France besides Paris. That's it. But the chemistry was not there. However, I think what they did here that really made me like it. I enjoyed JC's performance enough because I think this is better than her first film she did, where we already talked about in a past review, Romance and Style. This one worked because she was actually giving a lot more energy than in the Romance and Style. But was this better than her film last year, My Southern Family Christmas? To me, no. No. I think what this one was missing was the family aspect. I think it was missing the overall magical Christmas feeling. The performance and the setting is not enough to get this to a fantastic film for me. But I enjoyed the story. I did. I enjoyed the story, but then you fall right off the horse with this climax. What you do in this third act is stupid. The overall issue they have here, that was stupid and so poorly done. Brant Daughtry, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to be a nice guy, and it's just not working. It's not working because you wrote this character so much as I want to help this girl. Yes, I want to help her find the truth. If you're going to help her find out the truth, actually tell the truth. Now, have we seen this film done many, many times? Yes. Yes, we have. But the issue here is we haven't seen it done like this before, where the character is so well written up to that point. I think what you should have done is you could have had her find out but not tell him, because he's the reporter. She's just the one editing his articles for him. And she gets to go to France with him because she's the one who has this thing that her boss liked and said, okay, you get to go to France with him. So there could have been a little bit of like a butting heads thing here between them. Hey, I'm the reporter. You're basically my sidekick. She takes over here. And I thought you could have done a lot more with this story, made him a lot more likable and written him a lot better in this third act. But that third act really kind of ruined the film overall for me. But I don't think this is a great film. But I'm going to lower my score on it. I was at a 3.5. And I'm not going to go a whole lot lower. But I am going to go with a 3 now. A 3 out of 5. Which is going to be about a C+ on my scale. Not a great film. But definitely not as good as My Southern Family Christmas. What we get from her next year, I'm hoping we get more. Now, as a fan of JC Elliott, I like her, and I get what you mean. What were your thoughts on this film, and did you have the same issues as me?
Well, as you know, as you said, I'm not a JC Elliott fan, but I will say she had moments where I could tell she was trying. She was definitely trying. For me, though, it just still was just okay. I mean, I wasn't impressed, still wasn't impressed by her. And with Brant, his character, to me in the beginning, his character was kind of a jerk in the beginning with how he was acting toward her and the other guy that was working with him. So I was worried it was going to be another story this year where we have a jerk character for most of the movie. But thankfully they do turn it around and he does become a likable character. Mostly thankfully because of the character that I liked the most in this movie, and that was the little girl that helped run the little inn that they were staying in. Yes. I really liked her character. I thought she was really one of the best parts of the movie for me personally, and made me keep wanting to watch it because I thought she did so good in the role. And then with the drama that, like you said, towards the end where he doesn't tell her about the thing. To me, that definitely felt forced. It felt like they just needed to throw some drama in at the end of it to try to make the blow up happen. And I was just like, wow, why did you need to do that? You know, I get this is something big for her and everything, but this is one of those circumstances, and I know, like, we've talked about it before, where I don't mind when the drama ends very quickly sometimes in these movies. But to me, this is one where it ended too quickly. It was resolved way too quickly. He told her really fast after the whole, and it's like, why did you keep it from her if you're going to tell her that quickly afterwards? And then the very ending when they end up realizing that the person who had the box was the guy that was playing the accordion in the beginning of the dance scenes. I'm like, that's really random and thrown in. Like, why did we have to just randomly pick somebody in the middle of the town and say, oh, that's the guy who had the box? This is him. Let's give it back to him. Let's give him the diary. I'm like, the whole ending just felt so just messy and just thrown together, and just, I don't know, it just did not work for me. The chemistry just wasn't there. The Christmas feel, it was okay. I think they banked a lot on it being in Paris and just having the beautiful cinematography in general, that they pulled back on like the Christmas decorations. Now maybe that's how they decorate in Paris. I don't know. Maybe it's less decorations, but to me, I got an okay Christmas feel from it. But overall, I ended up giving this one a 2.5, mostly because I like that little girl. I like the little story she had with the elves and how you had to leave the presents outside the door and stuff.
How they help you.
Yeah. And so, that was making me laugh and stuff and kept my attention. And, the cinematography was nice being set in Paris and and everything. So, and gave credit for JC actually trying a little bit, even though it didn't fully work for me. So I think 2.5 was definitely a fair score for it, especially for me, not being a JC Elliott fan.
So what do you say we preview the next week's films?
Okay.
You've already seen one. You've already seen you've already seen my Christmas Guide, which we will talk about next week. But this is a big week for us. This is one week that we're like, if you disappoint me here, I'm going to be very angry.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to be very, very angry. Now, let me get this straight. Lacey Chabert is my favorite Hallmark actress. Followed by, if we're going by actresses, I'd probably say it's Hunter King now. The top guy is Tyler Hynes and Andrew Walker, a Ryan Pavey, something like that, right? We have one film coming out this week with Marcus Rosner called Flipping for Christmas. Then we have the Tyler Hynes film, which I am very nervous about. I'm very nervous. I'm not going to lie. I am scared to death of this film.
And I'm just excited because it's Tyler Hynes. So
I love Janelle Parrish. You remember when she got announced for her first film, Holly and Ivy? I was jumping up and down out of pure joy because I love this girl to death. I love this girl. I've loved her since she was Mona in Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah. This
story scares the crap out of me. Because if this film disappoints me with two of my favorite stars, Janelle isn't new to acting. She's just new to the Hallmark Channel scene. This is her third or fourth film. I liked her other ones. She had Holly and Ivy and Right in Front of Me.
Yeah, and then she had Coyote Creek Christmas.
Yep, with Ryan Pavey. Yep. I've liked all three of those. Tyler Hynes, on the other hand, where do we freaking start? Where do we start with this dude? Should we start with the Roadhouse Romance? Should we start with the Three Wise Men and a Baby? Time for him to come home for Christmas, An Unexpected Christmas. Where do we start with that guy? Because he's constantly one where he does not disappoint. This story, all about two BFFs, Naomi and Liz, reconnect with high school crush Chris Silver, played by Tyler Hynes. A complex love story forms, forcing them to take stock of their lives and finding the value of friendship. This is going to be a friendship film. It could just be a pure comedy.
Yeah.
If you do the wrong thing by not focusing enough on the fighting over him. Like making this a Hallmark version of the film called The Layover. A cleaner version of the Layover, where they're fighting over this one guy. If you don't make this a pure comedy, don't focus on this one thing enough, then I'm just going to be very upset. Because Tyler Hines has not had I don't think he's had a meth film. I really don't think he's had a meth film. He's definitely not had a bad film.
No.
Neither has Janelle. But Tyler Hines, I don't know if he's the Hallmark king yet. Give him time. But right now the king is probably like an Andrew Walker because he's been doing it for so freaking long. And he's been so consistent. Which one out of these two are you looking forward to the most? Because we're going to get into the Santa Summit here in a minute. But is it Flipping for Christmas the one that you're more at ease about because you know what you're getting yourself into? And we're going to take out our love for our beloved stars here. The story just scares me in general.
Yeah.
The story scares me because you can screw this up so bad. What are you going to think if they screw this up with and without our beloved stars?
If the Never Been Christ and if talking about the Santa Summit, if they ain't at least 4 stars, I will be very upset. I mean, I've not had probably below most of Tyler Hines movies for me usually rank around 5 out of 5s, just because they're so good. You know, for me, because he's my favorite, and everything's pretty much been either probably 4 or above, mostly 5 out of 5. So if this one ain't at least a 4, then I don't know what went wrong. I'm very curious of how it would be less than that, because you'd have to really screw it up for me not to give it a high score. I mean, with the Flipping for Christmas or whatever, I saw a preview for that when I was watching the new one. It looks like it might be good. We'll see. You know, if I take out my love for Tyler Hines as an actor, I would definitely probably say I'm more nervous for his movie than the Flipping Christmas. But you just throw his name on anything or Hunter King's name on anything, and I'm right there for it. Rhiannon Fish, any of them, I'm right there for it. So we'll see how they go. I'm not as nervous probably as you about the Never Been Christ, but a lot of that's just I'm trying to stay open with the storyline. I'm trying not to be too nervous about it or too scared to where it affects me too much with it, because I just really hope for a good one. I mean, and for me, I sort of hate in a way they're doing this one so early, but with how many kind of meh films I've gotten so far to start the Christmas, Hallmark season, I'm kind of looking forward to hopefully two amazing ones. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Going into Hunter King, right? Last year, you're not typically a fan of the royal films. I am.
Not usually. Yeah.
I'm a royal fan. If there's a royal film, you automatically get at least 2.5 stars, unless you're a royal Christmas crush. Boom. But I just got this set from Walmart, as you know, and this has her film last year in it. The lovely Hunter King in a Royal Corgi Christmas. that film was really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
She has not had a bad film. She hasn't even had a meh film. Her weakest film might have been Hidden Gems. Maybe the Nikki and Nora Sister Sleuths, maybe.
I loved both of those, so it's hard for me to say. I couldn't call. To me, the weakest for me was the Royal Corgi, and that was still a 3.5.
Yeah,
and that's saying a lot because you, like you said, I'm not a big Royal fan, so for it to get a 3.5 for me, I mean, that shows you how much I like her in movies. So,
with her in a Royal film with a dog. You had me at Royal, you had me at Corgi, you had me at Christmas, but you had me right in front of my TV screen for Hunter King.
Yeah.
Her film this week. This is not going to be a romance film. This will not be a romance film. This is a story about friendship. 3 best friends who head out for a night on the town to take part in the annual Santa Summit, an event where revelers don Santa suits and visit local spots on the circus. That'd be a different film. On the circuit to eat, drink, and be merry in true holiday fashion. This film better be good. Because we saw her. Well, I saw the set photos come out for this one, and I'm like, she's in a Santa suit. At first, I'm like, is she going to be doing the same thing as like a Christmas at Cartwright's, where it was, I believe that was Alicia Witt, who was a Santa Claus to try and make money for her daughter as like a second job or something. This one terrifies me because this can go one of 2 ways. This can either be so overly written where the comedy is cringe and it doesn't work, or it can have just the right amount of comedy and just the right amount of a little bit of romance, because this does have Benjamin Hollingsworth in it.
Yeah.
This movie scares me more than a Never Been Chris, because Hunter King's still so new. She's only been with the Hallmark Channel for a couple of years now, and she hasn't had a bad film. Tyler Hines has been with them for many years now, and he's going to continue to be there with them because he's a ratings draw. This film scares me more just because of the story, and if it sucks, saying it sucks is going a bit overboard, but saying it, if it disappoints me, then I'll be a little bit ticked off. Because we've seen films like this many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
But the comedy is what needs to work here. It's not going to be a question. Her performance is going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Her performance will be good. The costume design, it's Santa suits. Go to Walmart and buy a Santa suit, and you have a good suit. Really, I mean, cool. But this one and Never Been Chris make me nervous because of the stars, but also because of the stories. You're going into these basically for the stars.
Pretty much.
And,
I mean,
yeah.
With the Santa Summit, I am a little nervous for, just because, like, with the synopsis, it sounds more like a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Then you watch the previews, and it seems more like it could lean towards romance because they're trying to track down Ben Hollingsworth's character in the Santa suit. And I guess because she must have liked him or something, but didn't know what he looked like, so they're having to track him down.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they balance that out. I think that's going to be a big key, is balancing it out, because if you don't balance it out correctly, then it could definitely, or if you don't, because here the thing is, you're not going to go off chemistry for this one, because I don't think her and Ben's character is going to be with each other that much. It's probably going to be kind of like what was it, GAC's Destined at Christmas, how they just kept missing each other over and over again. And I said, I felt like there wasn't enough chemistry building in that one for me because they kept missing each other. I think that's what's going to happen here is you're not going to get a lot of chemistry. So you're going to have to go off of the fun of it, the fun of the search and trying to find him. So as long as they don't do like Destin did and have them like miss each other multiple times throughout the movie, then I think it can work for me. I think that it would be good, but we'll see. I'm definitely probably I would say I'm more nervous for this one than Never Been Chris, but they're about equal, I think. I mean, they're just really about equal for me with these, just because the synopsis and the the storylines are so unknown right now of what it's going to turn out to be. Because these ain't your typical Hallmark romance storylines.
Yeah. Now, this one might feel similar to a Field Day because that was more of like a friendship film, and the romance was sidelined but still built upon enough to make it work. So if it surprises me like a Field Day, because to me the previews for Field Day looked very just bad.
Mystic Christmas level?
Oh, worse actually. Worse.
Oh.
That one scared me. This one, I'm hoping it's not that way. If it goes the way of a Field Day, where you build the romance enough to make it work, but also you build on top of the friendship, then it'll work. The comedy worked in Field Day. The romance worked in Field Day because of the chemistry, but you didn't overpower it with the romance.
Yeah.
But with Field Day, you also added a little bit of a emotional aspect to it with her husband being gone.
Yeah.
You know what happened with Benjamin Ayer's character?
Yeah.
But two films with a guy named Benjamin in them. Trying not to get them mixed up. But so which one are you most looking forward to for this weekend? And which one do you think is going to be the best out of the Hallmark films? Because I don't know if you're going to watch both JC films.
We'll see about the GAC ones. I was thinking about that. Was it Dash of Christmas or whatever, the one with the cooking one? I thought about that one, but I'm not sure quite yet on that one. But as just from the Hallmark one, I'm not going to see. It's hard to say because I've already watched one, so I know what I'm going to give the one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try not to count that one in and just do the three that I have left. And I'm hoping, I think my favorite will probably end up being the Santa Summit. I'm hoping. Okay. Just because I feel like that could be more of a comedy, I'm hoping. And I think Never Been Chris, I think it'll be somewhat of a comedy, but I don't think it'll be like the Santa Summit. I don't think it'll be as big of a comedy as that one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the Santa Summit is the one I would most excited for.
Now, what I'm hoping is that it's going to be the Never Been Chris. Because that one just looks like it can be fun. Because as a fan of like these chick flick type films, or earlier this year I watched Bride Wars for the first time. If it's more of like a friend versus friend comedy, it can work. It can really work. This one just scares me a little bit more because of the stars, but also if you do the story wrong, then your script is going to be a complete mess.
Yeah, because the preview for that one, it doesn't really give you a feel of what you're going for. Because in a way, you would think it'd be them going against each other for him. But then they don't really give you that from the previews. It just feels like they're just, I don't even know. It's like maybe one's pushing the other one to make a move on him or something. I mean, I don't know. It's just the preview just don't give you a lot of detail. It's kind of keeping it very quiet in a way, I guess, without telling you, not wanting to tell you too much, which is makes you nervous.
I think we'll get a well, I don't think. I know we'll get a preview tomorrow night with Flipping for Christmas. Well, as we are recording this, it's the night that that my Christmas guide came out, and the night before Flipping for Christmas comes out. But I'm hoping it's the Never Been Christ, but I think we're both excited, but I think we're both nervous for both of those films.
Yeah. I hope they're both 5 out of 5s, but we'll see.
I'm gonna go to every film hoping it's a 5 out of 5. But let's get into the other reviews. We got 2 more for this week, and then we'll go into what we have for next week, which we talked a little bit. We could add a couple more in there. We'll just have to see what comes out. But let's get into this one. Five Nights at Freddys. This I'm gonna go off on this one first.
Okay.
Because you and I talked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got out of the movie. Well, first off, my screen got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I was in the theater, and they always show ads and everything, like every single theater does. Ads are going, and the music's blaring. So the music stops. It's about 4:17, and the music stops, and the screen goes out. Okay, movie time. Time for some trailers. Me and the audience are sitting there for about 10 minutes. And we're like, okay, are we going to get to see the movie? So this one lady, this one girl about my age, maybe a little bit older, goes, are they going to show us the Taylor Swift or the Hocus Pocus film by accident? Because they're not playing anything right now. And since I had a experience where, like, the day of, when I was supposed to go and see a religious sports family drama called I Can, I'm friends with the theater owner on Facebook and in real life. And she posts on Facebook, hey, my movie's not here yet. And it starts today. So sitting here telling the story, I'm like, I should have been thinking that. Did she not get the film? Because if I'm sitting here and I gotta sit here, and I don't have a problem with seeing the Taylor Swift Eras Tour for $4 instead of $20. But
that'd be nice.
Well, she probably would have walked in and said, $15 more, please.
Probably.
Then I would have went, fine, I'm here. I'll sit through it. Hocus Pocus, I just went to the theater the week before to see it.
Yeah.
And it's a great film, don't get me wrong. So the movie starts, and I'm like, well, you're not already off to a good start. Oh, boy. So I get to the opening scene, and you don't get to see hardly any of the deaths in this film. Hardly any of the deaths, which was a big issue for me.
Yeah.
However, what you're going to talk about and what I'm going to is going to be 2 completely different things. Because you see this as a film that I don't see it as, but I see where you are going with it. And you see where I'm going with it.
Yeah. So
this was kind of what made me go, we should do a little bit of like a podcast type show thing so we can actually talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's, to me, isn't much of a horror film. It has horror aspects in it. But before we get into that, Matthew Lillard, that man is just a freaking legend.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's Stu. I don't care if he's in Without a Paddle, or I don't care if he's Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo. I really don't care. Shaggy is a part of all of our childhoods, no matter what, even if it wasn't him in the very, very early 60s. Shaggy has been a part of us, but now he's still playing that role in all the animated films to this day. This man makes a comeback in this film, and no spoilers whatsoever. No spoilers, but did you go into spoilers in your video on it?
I think I did. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
Did a little bit because I figured everybody would have done seen it by then. You know, if they was going to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So, what we see of him in the first act, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just steals the freaking show.
Yeah.
He's Matthew Lillard. He could show up and sneeze, and you're automatically getting a full star for Matthew Lillard. But this movie, to me, more focuses on a family drama aspect, with Josh's character having to take care of his little sister,
Mm-hmm.
while his aunt is trying to get her away from him, or get her away from him, and take him to court over it, because he's on these sleeping pills. He can't hold down a job. He has very little money. He has a friend who he is not paying very much, if at all, to really watch her. So it's more of a favor, because I think that friend just likes him. That's why she's doing it, sort of. This is more of a family drama to me, because the backstory that we have for his character is mainly the full focus of the story, not the Five Nights at Freddy's guys, not any of the bear or any of those. It mainly hinges on his side story about losing his brother, because that's what he's seeing when he's dreaming. That's why he's having the same dream every night, because he wants to know who is the one who took his brother and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
The horror aspect does come into a little bit, but for me, it just comes in a little bit too late. But the last 30 minutes, I saw the twist coming. I called it. I'm like, this is the person who did it. And I didn't see the whole twist coming. All I'm going to say is I know who did it.
But hey, it was still great. The twist and the reveal was still great.
I knew who did it. I didn't really like that they made it so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, a lot of people are going into this to see the characters. Now, we didn't play the games. Neither of us are major fans of the games.
No.
So knowing this story and playing the games, to me, would not have made a difference whatsoever with my issues in the film at all. At all. Because to me, it's just like the Marvel films. Everyone says, well, this happened in the comics. I'm like, I'm sorry, no. To steal a line from the good and great John Campea, the comics are the comics and the movies are the movies. In this situation, the games are the games. You can steal from the games, like the characters and a story, but for me, knowing the story doesn't help me, and playing the games does not help me with this film in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't think playing the games would have helped any. I mean, knowing the story, it definitely pulled from the story, but kind of flipped it at the same time. But no, playing the games definitely ain't going to do nothing, in my opinion, on that. Yeah, it wouldn't have made no difference for it.
No. Now, we do get some nice harder PG-13 moments that push the limits of a PG-13 film with a certain kill and that one scene involving that one Five Nights at Freddy's character who it looks like he's about to saw and cut Josh in half.
Yeah.
from his face down. I'm like, that's a bit of a rougher PG-13 moment there. But overall, I thought that this was more of a family drama instead of a horror film. And that's what I'm going to review this as. Because that's what I see it as. Because it wasn't really... You got none of that in any of the trailers at all. They don't say, hey, this is the subplot. You watch these trailers and you're like, you're expecting a horror film. And you get moments of horror, yes. But to me, this is more of a family drama. Overall, I thought this was a very well done family drama mixed with horror elements. Fantastic performance from the legend Matthew Lillard. And Josh was pretty good in this film overall. Having not seen him in much that's been big, the last thing I saw him in was an indie film called Burn. Which Burn was. Oh, sorry, what? Burn was just bad. I saw a few episodes of Future Man, which was all right, but it wasn't amazing. But overall, I thought this was a very well done film. I can see myself enjoying this one more now. Going in, knowing what I'm getting, this could go up for me, but I'm gonna go with the 3.5 out of 5 on my grading scale. I'm gonna go with a very good B+.
Yeah.
What in a nutshell, because I know that I rambled.
You're fine.
But what were your overall thoughts about this? And then we can get right into the newest film. Well, the newest film that we both watched.
Okay. So try not to spoil nothing since we're doing spoiler free here. So for me, and maybe it's because I know kids have played the games before. My daughter watches people play the games on YouTube and stuff. I went in, even with the trailers being what they was, I went in expecting a entry-level horror film, kind of like Spirit Halloween or Goosebumps or Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, something like that. Some an entry-level type horror that you could sit down and watch with the family. That's not going to be too bad. I mean, yes, this gives you some kills, but some of it's cut away, stuff like that, like you expect in PG-13 horror.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this one. I thought the animatronics looked great. I thought they moved great, a lot better than what the Banana Splits animatronics did. And maybe that's because, for the most part, these were actual animatronics controlled by the Jim Henson Company.
Yeah.
So, that probably helped out. I don't know if they worked with Banana Splits, but I would say not, just because I think they did a whole lot better in this one with the animatronic type style stuff. Yeah. I thought they looked on point with the characters and everything. Matthew Lillard was amazing. Loved it. Loved him in this. One of my biggest draws to see this one, honestly, just because I've never, like we've said, I've never played the games or nothing. So, and Josh actually did a really good job. And I won't say great, a really good job in this, which kind of sucks that he played his best role for us right now as one where he's kind of doped up on sleeping pills a lot. Yeah. He's kind of playing a role where he's kind of doped up and sleepy most of the time. But at least they gave him a reason to be taking the pills. It's and everything. They didn't just leave that as like a plot hole or something, or try to make him out to be something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think I know this film gets a lot of hate. It gets tons of hate. There is some that enjoy it and love it, but in my review, I said, if you've not watched this yet, go into it watching it as like an entry level horror, or if you have watched this, maybe rewatch it and watch it as like more of a family friendly entry level horror.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me it was still really good, and I look forward to the sequels. I'm expecting probably at least maybe 2 more sequels to this. So really excited to see where it goes. I've already pre-ordered the the Blu-ray, so that shows you how much I loved it. And I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. So it was we're not very far off technically with this one, even though we see it differently. We're still not that far off. But yeah, I look forward to where it goes and see who all they bring in the next film. Maybe they'll bring in more characters from the game, or I probably won't get who the characters are or how they reference the into the movie, but it can be nice to see them, and maybe they'll bring my daughter's favorite character into the film.
Yeah, the gator, right?
Yeah, the gator, she knows the character's name. I have no idea what that character's name is, but it's the gator that she wants to see, which I think she'll like this one when we do let her watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she'll be disappointed that he's not in it. I think she'll be like, "Where's he
at?" Now this thing, we already know it's probably going to get a sequel. One, because it was made for relatively cheap. It's a blunt. See, cheap in a relative term because it's millions upon millions of dollars. But this thing made $80 million opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, worldwide, it's at $152,022,055. That's within the first week. This thing is getting a sequel.
Oh yeah, Blumhouse closed out sequels anyways, like crazy.
Yeah, well, we are getting a Megan 2 at some point. So I mean,
yeah,
Megan 2. I have no idea how much. How much did Megan make? Let me see. Megan made.
All his movies are relatively cheaply made, so they can make the money.
Megan only made 179.9 million. So right now, this film is right on its heels. But by this weekend, it'll overtake Megan. Which, saying that a Blumhouse film was a hit for them at 179 million, this is going to go. I think this could go to 350, 400 million. It depends on what the drop is, because if it drops below like 60%, because I went to theaters and you watched it on Peacock.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, it did hurt the box office a little bit, but this is a lot better than, like, say, the last couple of films that they've put straight to Peacock. Mainly Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills. Those went to theaters and Peacock, which is mainly like, I don't believe in this film. we don't believe in this film because we're sticking it on streaming. But I think they did a nice job with this one. I cannot wait to see the sequel.
Yeah.
So, the last film that we're going to be covering tonight is a film that I just got done watching a couple hours ago. And this is The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Another film that got a lot of hate.
Yeah. And this film is the second Dracula film we've gotten this year. Well, involving the character of Dracula.
Yeah. Renfield was the first one. And now this one.
I don't believe I did a review for Renfield on my channel.
No, I don't think so.
So saying this right now, The Last Voyage of the Demeter is better than Renfield. I am getting this quick review of Renfield out of the way. Nick Cage was very good in the role for when he's in it. Nicholas Hoult was very good in the role. The CGI blood might have been a little bit much. I thought it was lacking in story, and the comedy did not work for me overall. But while saying that the bad CGI blood was overly done at times, when I enjoyed it, man, did it have a ton of fun and bloody violence in it, especially in that one, like but it was the apartment scene where he literally rips a guy apart and rips his arm off and thinking like ninjism and stuff like this. Whoo, that was fun. This film here, the crew of the merchant ship Demeter attempts to survive the ocean voyage from Carpathia to London as they are stalked each night by a merciless presence on board the ship. I wanted to see this in theaters. My theater did not get this one. Looking on Letterboxd right now, this is a very mixed film. Now, we didn't talk a whole ton about this one, so this will be fresh for both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, wait.
This film is better than Renfield because it takes itself seriously. It expands upon a small story, a small portion of the original book of Dracula, the smallest portion, which takes place on the ship. I believe it's the smallest portion of the book. I haven't read it. I'm just going off of what I know from things I've heard and everything else.
Yeah.
What this film does so well is it makes you feel for the characters. You get connected to these characters so well, even though there are a couple characters who are kind of wasted. But I really love the character of Toby. Toby, I don't know if it was... See, I don't know if it was because I loved his last two films, Cobweb and Come On, Come On. But this kid doesn't disappoint me yet. I still haven't seen, or have I seen The Current War? I can't remember if I've seen The Current War or not. According to Letterboxd, I have, but I don't remember it. But I enjoy this kid. He's freaking phenomenal. Woody Norman is phenomenal as Toby. He delivers a very well done, well written character here of Toby. And the captain here is very likable. He's not too over the top, but he gives enough to his character to make you feel bad when something terrible happens. Not gonna spoil what happens, that you really feel bad for him. But if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All you gotta do is watch the trailer and you know how that one ends.
But our lead guy here, Clemens. Clemens is very likable. The actor who plays him is phenomenal here. He gives his all to this role. I thought he made some very interesting choices for the character. The blood and gore was not over the top like it was in Renfield, right? But it was over the top in just the right ways. Because it needed to be a little bit over the top because, let's be honest, this is a dark film. Not in story, but in like the lighting. It's a very dark film.
Oh, yeah.
This movie really does get a little too dark at some points, but when you see the blood, especially when this one guy, he's on the ship and he sees Dracula crawling out from underneath the stairs. One, the makeup on the character Dracula is just phenomenal. The practical effects on Dracula, great. The blood can be over the top at times, but man, I just had a fun time with this film. It's a little overly long at almost 2 hours, I think. I thought you could have trimmed the fat a little bit. Maybe cut this by about a good 10, 15 minutes, and you would have had a nicely, tightly written and better paced film. But overall, I enjoyed The Last Voyage of the Demeter a lot more than I thought I would. And I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. And on my grading scale, that's going to add up to a very good B+. It's been a very good week for films because I've given a lot of the same scores, and my weakest one was a Christmas film from GAC Family, which wasn't all that awful either.
Yeah.
But what did you think of The Last Voyage of the Demeter? And then we will go into what we're going to be covering next week as of what we know right now.
Well, definitely almost didn't watch it. I was tempted to just skip on it because I'd heard that it was boring, that it wasn't really good, and so, and for me, these kind of period pieces type deals can be hit and miss because to me this is a period piece. But I know when I got to my Walmart thing, I had like one Blu-ray copy left. I was like, okay, let's do it because I know you wanted to see it too. So I thought I'll get it and hopefully I like it. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think that the story, I mean, I think they definitely could have shortened it a little bit. They could have had it to where some of the things happened more in one night, maybe, than have it over multiple nights. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've never read the book. I don't know if that's maybe how it happens in the book, and they just went straight from that. So I don't know if there's really a way they could trim it without completely changing everything from the story. But I could definitely feel the runtime a little bit, and the gore in this. It definitely, you could tell, was CGI. Which you say over the top kind of CGI. Kind of wish they could have gave us practical effects on that, but I guess they spent it all on Dracula and making that costume. But and it definitely, like you said, they definitely make you feel for the characters. They make you really like some of them. Make you sort of hate some of them in a way. But it was definitely a nice surprise, and I kind of figured out. I kind of knew in a way how it would end. I kind of figured how it was going to end. I'm trying not to give away any spoilers for it. But
go ahead for it, man. This film isn't as new as 5 Nights. So go ahead and spoil it if you want to, because I know you didn't do a video on this one. So go and spoil it if you want. One. Up to you.
I kind of knew who would survive, and I sort of wonder, could they do a sequel on this? Because they kind of end you where maybe they could do one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, since it's referencing towards the book, how that would work out, because I've never read the book. I don't know if they could go straight into Dracula from there. But it will be interesting. Plus, this movie probably didn't do well enough to even garner a sequel. Now, if this was like Blumhouse that did it, they would probably give it a sequel because he just throws money around like crazy.
Yeah.
But for this one, I think it won't get one, which is fine. I mean, it ends where you don't necessarily need one. But yeah, it was a nice surprise. And I definitely get what you're saying about it being dark at times with it, because with it being set at night and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And being on a ship, it's not really lit well. Being on a old wooden ship like it was.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of research here. I'm going to look at what the budget was for this thing. This thing was $45 million, okay?
Okay.
It cost $45 million to make. This thing bombed. It bombed hard. Worldwide, this made $21 million.
I know watching it, I thought to myself, I was like, this doesn't seem like a movie that would attract people to theaters. This felt like a straight to Blu-ray or a streaming film, just by what it is. I mean, this type of movie, it just doesn't scream theater worthy of a film. Like, I don't know. That's just me.
Now, if this would have gone to Peacock, do you think that this should have gone straight to there? Because I believe this came out around the same time as like Strays and Blue Beetle and stuff like that. But what really hurt this film, really, is we had the Barbenheimer thing. That took over like for a solid 5 weeks. And this came out 3 weeks afterwards. So Barbie and Oppenheimer were still continually going at it. And whatever film came out, we knew it wasn't going to do well because one, Barbie was so beloved. And Oppenheimer was so beloved. And I really like both films a lot. They're in my top 3 of the year. This film, I didn't think it was going to do well. And looking at the box office for Renfield, that didn't do very well at all. Renfield had $26 million. So I don't know if it's a Dracula problem, if they don't want a Dracula film now or what. But I don't know why these two films flopped as hard as they did. Because Renfield, I'm not saying it's a bad film because it's definitely not a bad film. And going off of quality, you can't really speak on the box office when it comes to the quality of a film.
Yeah.
You can go off of the marketing and the interest of the film. So with this one, I don't know if they're going to look at this and say, we don't want a Dracula film unless you're going to do one once you do the new Universal Monsters Verse thing, which we're going to eventually get another Dracula film based off of that character. But I don't know if we're going to get another sub-story involving the character now because we've had 2 that have just bombed.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Voyage of the Demeanor, I gave it a 4 out of 5. And I don't know with the Dracula films. I mean, vampire films, it seems like, is a genre that is not hot right now for most people. And they're trying to bring it back, I think, building it to that Universal level. And we'll see, because, I mean, we had the Invisible Man to start everything off with that one. But we'll see how they go. I mean, it's kind of like with the characters now in the movies, they want a ghost face. They want a Chucky. They want more bigger characters that reach out to everybody. And maybe just Dracula doesn't reach out to everybody. I mean, maybe it's just a character that people are just like, yeah, vampires, we see it all the time type deal. That it's not like for a lot of people, it's not like a namesake, big, huge horror villain probably for some people.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. I mean, I love vampire films when they're done right. I've seen some that was not done right at all with, I think it's that movie Slayers with Abigail Breslin in it. So I've seen the bad ones, but I've seen plenty of good ones, but they're just they're not a hot ticket right now. It seems like
No.
nobody wants that. They want Ghostface, they want Michael, they want Jason, whatever, Art the Clown. Which I mean, hey, I'll take them too. I love all them too.
No
but,
more art. No.
I'm excited for the Terrifier 3 next year just as much as the next man, and Scream 6 or 7, whatever we're on now.
Yeah.
But I think it may be a little. We may not see a vampire theater title until probably they do the Universal one, because, and if they do, I think they just need to send it straight to streaming. I think that's what should have happened with Renfield, and I think that's what it should have happened with this one. It's just straight to streaming, especially with Voyage, because that came out, like you said, during the Barbie craze, and Oppenheimer craze. So I think a lot of those films suffered because of that, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's great for the Barbie film and the Oppenheimer film.
Yeah.
But when it's causing other movies to struggle and not pull in the audience, it's kind of hurting it in a way as well, hurting the studios in a way as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because we just got through having a time where there was like nothing in the theater. And now we're getting stuff in the theater, and you had 2 movies that was pretty much killing the competition.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what they choose to do, but I say send it to streaming next time. Don't do theaters, at least right now. Unless you put it in October. Maybe people will see it more in October instead of summer, spring, whatever, early fall. Just do it around October. Then maybe people will go see it for Halloween.
Do you hear that, Disney? That's what you should have done with Haunted Mansion. Going off of that topic there, because I could go off on the Disney and the Haunted Mansion thing. Why did you put that in July? Anyways. What do we have coming next week? Well, we've talked about for a couple weeks in the future, right?
Yeah.
So I know we're doing my Christmas guide.
Yeah.
We're doing Flipping for Christmas, Never Been Christ, and the Santa Summit.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to be watching a couple more of the new releases that come out this weekend, but I don't think that you're going to be watching the ones that I'm going to be, except for a couple. Because I know you and I are thinking about doing, or probably we'll be doing a Christmas frequency and reporting Christmas. Both those films are on Hulu now. And there is another film on Roku called How to Fall in Love by the Holidays. I don't know if we'll do that one or not.
I have to look it up. I didn't know that was even one of them, I don't think.
Yeah, that comes out tomorrow on there. And then I don't think we're going to do Quiz Lady on Hulu with Aquafina and Sandra Oh. There's a documentary on Netflix called Sly, all about, of course, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
I will probably be watching that one. But looking at everything else, it doesn't look like there's a ton of other stuff coming out this week. But I'm looking here, and I'm looking. It's a big release for DVDs and Blu-rays for you and me. But I know that next week, Foe comes out, which we talked about earlier. I don't know if we will do Foe or not, with Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal.
We'll that was more a you movie, I think.
This is more of a me film because I love. Well, I just Saoirse Ronan to death. Lady Bird and Little Women. I mean that woman can do no wrong in my eyes. But let's be honest, Saoirse Ronan is an actress who you stick her anything, I'm automatically going to be interested in it because she's just so phenomenal. And
Yeah.
with a film like A Little Women, you had Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, and a Timothy Chalamet in there, and a Meryl Streep in there. So how am I not going to want to see that film with that big of a cast?
Yeah.
But I believe we're just going to be doing the Christmas films next week, unless you end up watching Foe. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But we will just see, and we will go from there. But the week after that, we're just gonna have to see what all comes out. We're gonna play this week by week, and every single week we will tell you guys what we have coming up. And thank you for watching the very first week of Noah and Scottie Reviews. And we will see all of you guys next time with a lot more Hallmark reviews. And we will be here every single week to cover most, if not all, the new Hallmark films and whatever else we watch. So, Scottie, tell them where we can find you down below on Twitter or on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you want to be found. And don't give away your home address.
No, not going to do that. Is our YouTube is just Scottie and Ashley, ain't it?
What?
Our YouTube is just Scottie and Ashley, ain't it?
Scottie and Ashley Johnson, but at the end is the symbol.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so our YouTube is Scottie and Ashley Johnson with the and symbol in between our names.
Mm-hmm.
And then Letterboxd. I ain't looked at my titles for my stuff in a while.
Scottie J91.
Yeah, Scottie J91 for my Letterboxd. And then it's the only thing on there. And then my Instagram is Scottie J30. So that is everything I have. So like I said, it's been a while since I've even looked at what I go by on any of these things.
Well, thank you guys for watching this week, and we will see all of you guys next time. And we could surprise each other. We don't know what comes out tomorrow on streaming or what comes out to rent, but we have a lot more coming your way, and we will see all of you guys next time.